All right. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Corcoran Entertainment Show. I'm your host, Frankie Corcoran, and today we have a special episode. Why is it a special episode? Well, because it is our 100th episode. Episode 100, baby. We're here. We made it. We haven't been canceled. Woohoo! Yeah, it's crazy that I'm even saying that, really. Kind of just to take things back a little bit. When I started this podcast, I first had the idea for doing this podcast back in September 2021. So that was so of course I had announced before then, Corcoran Entertainment's first production is going to be October 2021, and we're all excited, we were all working hard, and then all of a sudden, boom, COVID restrictions came down, and we weren't able to do it until June the next year. So I was like, well, shit. I was trying to find ways. I'm like, what can I do to, just to, keep me busy first off? Because, COVID was a horrible time because we couldn't do a goddamn thing. So then that was why I was like, well, I kind of went back to the podcast idea because I remember before, my friends, we'd always talk about, it'd be one of those like late night drunk where we're all drunk, we're talking like, hey, let's start a podcast, and then talking and planning it out, and then we just don't go through with it, and we just forget the next day. So as I was thinking, I was listening to podcasts and stuff like that, I was like, you know what, I said, what if I do a Corcoran Entertainment podcast? So I kind of announced, brainstormed some ideas, and then I said, hey, we're doing it. Kind of announced it around September time, but I was like, just stay posted, because nothing's happening in the immediate future, but just stay tuned because we're gonna be, announcing, and if how to get equipment and stuff like that, and we'll announce when we're going to start and stuff like that, and just getting updates and funding and stuff. So I got some funding. Shout out to also Agib Faisal, if you're listening to this, Agib, who really helped kickstart this podcast. It wouldn't be where it is without Agib, who is also a new dad as well as of, I believe, September, September, August. No, September, I'm sorry. Or October. Either way, Agib, you're going to be the best dad, man. You are one of the best people I know. You've done so much. And, I really appreciate everything you've done in helping me, get funding and brainstorming ideas for the podcast, pointing me in the right direction for equipment. And I am just very grateful for all of that. So, and we'll definitely hope to get him back on at some point. He's, hands are tied when you got a newborn at home. I mean, that kind of takes priority. So, yeah, what should I do? Spend time with my kid and babysit him, or should I, do a podcast and let the kid, So, anyways, so yeah, first I just want to say, thank you so much to everybody for all your support. Throughout the, we launched the podcast in January 2022, and it was one of those things I was like, probably just keep it going for just a couple weeks, maybe a few weeks, maybe, I didn't really have a long-term plan. Like, literally, if you asked me when I first launched the podcast, are you still going to be doing this podcast like December 2023? I would have said probably not. I think it's just more so, just, pass the time and everything. But in doing it, though, I've learned so much, and it's helped with, my social skills, and it's helped with just everything. Like, it makes me strive to be a better journalist, a better writer, a better actor, a better director through all the people I interview from all different walks of life. And just all the stuff I learned from it, I'm like, I don't know if I want to stop. And plus, I love podcasts, too. I actually download I listen to my music and stuff through Apple Music, but I downloaded Spotify just for podcasts. Like, I don't listen to music on Spotify or anything. Like, I love podcasts. I love listening to podcasts. And I was like, I just want to do a podcast, you know what I mean? And here we are. And so it's been great, and I'm meeting all kinds of people, some of which I've been a fan of for years, such as last week's episode. We had Cyrus from Trailer Park Boys on, and I was, just over the moon excited for that. Also, yeah, just shout out to all the guests too. If some of you guys are listening, You guys never had to come on. I'd ask, hey, like, I do a podcast and, was wondering if you want to come on. None of them ever had to say yes. They'd be like, what the hell are you doing? Like, starting a podcast? Like, no, I don't care about that. No. But they were like, no, we'll do it. Like, yeah, thanks for having me on. It was always like, they always said it was an honor to be asked to be on the podcast. And that just means the world because, whether it's people I know locally, whether it's people I reach out to from like, across the globe, it really means a lot that you were willing to, come on the show and talk about it with me and everything. And, and it's also helping me grow my brand too. Like, it's just crazy to think like when I started doing the podcast, I was just getting people that I knew like locally. And then I'd have the odd person who like, I had Paul Petito, my playwriting instructor from the States. He was on one of our first episodes. That was like the first guest that I've had to book in a different time zone, which by the way, I must say doing the podcast and scheduling those guests, I know so much more about time zones now and I never did before. Or not that I didn't know before, but it was like sometimes you forget because like you just ask people around here like, hey, podcast, we're gonna record at 6:00. That work for you? And they're like, yeah, that's good. Jump on at 6:00. But then for a guest in a different, country with a different time zone, yeah, hey, it's 6:00. It's actually you're actually 4 hours ahead, and so it's like like 3:00 their time. So I've learned a lot about that too. I mean, like some of you might think like, Jesus, he should have paid more attention in school, but it's just stuff you don't think about. You know what I mean? Like you have people in the area that you're just so used to just be here at this time or be here at that time. Even like promoting a play, like someone is, I don't know, let's say someone was coming to see one of my shows from the States or something like that. And they're like, okay, what time is this show starting at? Oh, starting at 6:00. Okay, is it like our time? Like, how does that work? Like, like it's. I mean, that's not maybe that's not a very good comparison, but you know what I mean. So yeah, and I'm super grateful, just everything and how far it's gone on. And some of you may be asking like, how much longer are you gonna keep doing it? Till I don't feel like it anymore. And I don't see it happening. I really don't see that happening. I love doing the podcast. It's almost like medicine, to knowing that, I of course have all my stuff that I do on a regular basis, work and running this company and family and friends and all that stuff, trying to maintain a social life. But getting to do the podcast is almost like, yeah, it's a good downtime, and it's great to, talk to people who, you have so much in common with that you want to learn more about and everything. It's just awesome. So yeah, no, there are no plans for the show to end at all. So at least not anytime soon, unless I die. That's probably the only way this podcast is going to stop, or if Spotify and Anchor, Spotify for Podcasters calls me and it's like, hey, you need to cease production like immediately. Unless that happens, then we're just gonna keep it going, and I hope you guys are in for the ride too. So yeah, a little longer intro than before, but because this is the 100th episode and I never thought I would be here, I really just wanted to take the first 10 minutes or so and just kind of express my gratitude, express how much it means to me that you guys listen to the podcast, how much it means to me to have all the guests who don't need to come on at all when I ask them, but they're like, yeah, I'll be there. It's such an honor that you asked me to be on. Yeah, it means the world. It really means the world to me. So for our 100th episode, we have a few guests on. We have, of course, Shawn Doucet, Kyle Esty, Emily Bryenton, and last but not least, my dear cousin, Emma Bose. See, Emma, I saved the best for last. I'm just kidding, guys. You guys can determine who's the best amongst the four of you. So they're coming on the show today, because it's funny. Shawn and Kyle were my second guests Emma and Emily, of course, they weren't my first guest, but they were on the first season, and they've made a couple appearances throughout, and so it's just great to now have like the ultimate crossover episode now. And now we have them, meeting the first two guests and meeting who is the best podcast duo. That's one thing, we can discuss. I might put that as a poll, actually. Who is the better podcast duo? I'll let you guys determine that. And so guys, without further ado, and then by the way, at the end of the segment, I am going to put in our very first episode as like a throwback, of course, with Jansen Blacquier back in January 2022, episode 1, with my horrible mic quality. So you're gonna hear this and say, "Oh shit, that sounds pretty good," and then you're gonna hear episode 1, you're like, "Holy shit, that was bad." Back then, I thought it was like the best thing ever. But when you look back on it now, you're like, oh my god, you should have invested in better equipment. Anyways, so stay tuned for that. And so without further ado, guys, sit back, relax, and enjoy episode 100. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Oh, thank you. That means a lot. That's an audience track, by the way. I would, for those of you guys who were able to tell, you go, oh my god, he films this in front of a live studio audience. Yeah, no, I don't. There'd be so many cuts and everything. I'd be like, oh my god, should I have said this? Should I have said that? Anyways, I'm rambling. You guys don't want to hear that, so let's just get the show on the road. All right, enjoy the show, guys. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Corcoran Entertainment Show, episode 100 special. Very excited today because today we are joined by part of some of our favorite duos, because one person out of the two duos is missing right now. He just ghosted us. But anyways, we're gonna just keep on going as if nothing ever happened. So first off, I'll introduce our panel. First off, we have the man who was on our second episode, Shawn Doucet.
Woo! You love it, baby. The self-proclaimed co-host. I mean, I'm the best co-host ever.
I think so too. I mean,
best and only co-host.
No. Thank you.
Definitely, guys, be sure to vote on our Spotify poll. And next up, we have my cousin.
The people know, Frankie.
No nepotism there. Emma Bowes.
Hi.
And then we have Emily Bryenton.
Oh, that's me.
And the one we're missing is Kyle Esty, because he said he was going to come on, but we waited for a bit and he hasn't come on. We messaged him, he hasn't come on. So you know what? We're just gonna keep on going. Yeah, sorry, Kyle.
Sorry, not sorry. Kyle sucks.
Yeah, what's up? So let me just ask what this is with this big rivalry between you and Shawn and Kyle and you two. What's going on between you guys?
It's not a rivalry, Frank. I'm just winning, bro.
No. Okay, let me be honest. Okay, do you want some?
Who's on more episodes? Me, because I'm the best.
What? Okay. Not allowed to be on too many, or else it would look like it's nepotism.
Emma, you're literally my blood cousin. Like, you're literally my blood relative. And is that nepotism?
I don't know. I just want to be the winner.
You just want to be the winner. Okay. Emily, what were you saying?
We're harder working. We actually showed up.
Hey, one half of our duo showed up.
That's a 50%.
And it's the better half. The best co-host on this show.
That was rough. So, Emily, feel free to elaborate on the history.
Okay, so what I was going to say from the beginning, what initially happened was mine and Emma's worlds collided when me and Shawn started working together, because I didn't realize the connection for the longest time. So then, like, I became friends with Shawn, and by nature, Emma also became friends with Shawn, because what's mine is hers. And then
plus I already knew of Shawn through like going to Frankie's birthday parties and stuff as kids.
Yeah, so it's not like
God.
Okay.
Like my cousin.
No, and then Kyle joined the picture somehow. I don't know how. I think it's because he also worked with us, Shawn, but like not
He's
like
also my friend.
well, that'll do it.
That makes sense.
No, but yeah, but anyways, and then we all hung out one night, and that's when we went to your house.
Yeah, we went to Frankie's.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, that was when you guys just randomly pulled up in my yard in the middle of the night. And no, well, you guys texted me. You're just like, are you home? I'm like, yeah. And then I just heard just drive in. I was like, well, okay, that's interesting. And then it just kind of went from there. Like, okay, like why are you guys hanging out? And then that's where I kind of got the big
I don't
picture.
even
But why is there such a rivalry between you guys? Or is there a rivalry? That's what it seems
I
like.
don't know. I think they started it because of jealousy, Frankie. Honestly, that's what I think.
I don't
Emma,
have
where
a-
do you stand on that?
Completely on the opposite side. I think they're jealous of us.
Why would I be jealous? I was on the show first. So you would have to start the jealousy first.
We had people requesting us on the show.
Yeah.
Also, people requesting me, but I don't bask in the glory. I'm humble.
You just said you're a god.
Yeah, I'm a humble god.
Oh, he said a god. I thought he said the goat. I thought that's what he was saying.
Oh, Frankie, you're flattering me. I am the fucking goat, brother.
Just stroking his ego. I'm just stroking Sean's ego so fucking bad right now.
Buddy, you know I'm your best co-host. They're really, if you had to choose one out of four of us, really, I'm charismatic and lovable.
I couldn't
I'm charismatic
choose.
and lovable, Frankie.
So that's why I said, why not just have both duos on today and just make it easier? But now, of course, Kyle apparently stood us up. He's probably gonna like message me or something like that and say like, yeah, sorry, I can't do it tonight. But I was like, okay.
Here's
I was
what
like,
I'm thinking.
I said we gotta get this shit done. So I just pressed record. So
The next poll you should put out on all the social medias is who is the best co-host / god.
and who am I gonna
Slash
put for
goat.
options? Who am I gonna put for options? Just
Well,
you,
Frankie, the four of actually no, just me and Kyle. Don't
just
put
you
them.
and Kyle.
Yep.
So Sean and Kyle, and I don't know
Okay.
who else was on the show before. Frankie McDonald. Shout out to Frankie. We'll put you on.
Oh well, don't Frankie McDonald's better than me, man. He'd be an unreal co-host.
Oh yeah, he would be awesome actually. I should ask if
You
he
know
wants
what?
to be the co-host. After
Just
today,
to-
I'm done with you guys. This episode
Just to pivot.
100. I'm just wiping the slate clean. After
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna pivot to episode 100, man. That's crazy.
Isn't that something though? Well,
Like-
Sean, I remember when I first said that I was going to do a podcast, you were kind of like messaging me ideas and stuff like that and saying like, yeah, it'd be awesome. Like you could do this and that. Did you ever expect that we get to 100 episodes?
I always knew it, man. You were always so into this stuff, and I was like, he's gonna take it far. And like looking back, look at how many like big people you've got on the show for 100 episodes. A lot of podcasts don't get anybody big after 100 episodes, but some don't even make it to 100 episodes.
Well, first episode or second episode, I had you and Kyle, so that's as famous as I'm gonna get. You know what I mean? Like, there's no.
No, Frankie McDonald was a good one.
Yeah,
that was great.
Yeah, Frankie McDonald, and you've had Barb Leahy. I can't think of her actor's actual name.
Shelley Thompson.
Shelley,
Shout out to
and the guy who plays Cyrus.
Bernard Robichaud. Shout out Bernie. If you're listening to
Like
this,
that's so cool, man. And like 100 episodes in, you've had those people on already. Just think of the next 100 episodes.
yeah,
Mhm.
I got to work on Sean. Who was the guy that you were trying to get me on? So like,
Oh my
when I was
god.
telling Sean how I was getting in touch with a lot of these people, he's like, I got a list of people that you can contact. And there was Yuri, how do you say his last name? Lowenthal?
Yuri Lowenthal. He's like one of the biggest now. Like in hindsight, I was kind of short thought of it because I was like, oh man, Yuri Lowenthal would be great. He voiced Ben 10, he voiced Spider-Man, and he voiced Spider-Man in the new two Spider-Man games. And I was like, Frankie, just try and get a hold of them, which he did. And then I realized afterwards I was on TikTok and I was like, oh shit, he's doing interviews for the new Spider-Man game. So he's probably gonna be his popularity because of that new game came out and it just blew up. So I was like, we probably will never get him on, but he would be like my number one dream to get on this podcast.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, like, and there's so many where it's like, it's like, I'll try. See, I mean, like it's one of those things where it's like, maybe they'll say yes, maybe they won't. But it's
But
like
worst case, they say no. Like that's not a big deal.
either they say no or I'm not going on some fucking nobody's podcast. Like, what do you like? Who the like? I'm Yuri Lowenthal. Like I don't need to come on any podcast kind of thing.
Yeah, he's my favorite voice actor by far. Like,
Emma and Emily, who would you guys dream to interview on this podcast? It could be any celebrity, Ryan Gosling, Ryan Reynolds, anyone that comes to mind.
The cash. I honestly don't know. Like, I feel like you always come up with ones that I probably wouldn't think of, but like I learn a lot. Donnie's was probably my favorite because I didn't really know much about his career and stuff.
Oh, all you knew was just that he's. Others say I didn't know
That's
Donnie. I was like, Donnie's your goddamn uncle. Like, what do you?
Donnie's my godfather, actually. So I got to learn a lot about like his actual like career and stuff.
Oh, he is your godfather too. Oh my god, yes, that's right. I almost forgot about that. Oh wait, was he your godfather? I thought Alan and. No, never mind. That's Chelsea. Never mind. I'm sorry. I'm all mixed up now. I was getting all. We have so many goddamn members of our family. I can't even keep track of who is who. Emily, who would you say you would like?
Well, initially I said Doja Cat, just like because I think that she would be interesting to talk to. Oh, but then Emma actually said someone like meaningful.
No, but I genuinely, I'm not a big I'm more into music. So I feel like if you got Post Malone on this podcast, it would be really confusing. Then again, you put me and Emily on the podcast, so
yeah, that's true there. Yeah, I mean, like, I was kind of grasping at straws at that point. I'm like, oh god, I need some. I'm desperate for guests. Emily, I need you.
Suddenly, I'm not available the rest of the night.
Whenever we do try,
she just signs off. Emily has left.
Whenever we plan a podcast episode, it's always like, have you guys watched this? No. How about this? No.
Like literally, that's every goddamn thing. Well, even like when Shawn and Kyle, I'm like, okay, I want to talk about like like me and Shawn have this idea.
We're upfront when we don't watch the movie.
Yes, like goddamn Kyle, the first episode that he and Shawn did with me, we were doing a No Way Home review. He's like, "Yep, that sounds good." And then we got on the episode before we started. He's like, "By the way, I haven't seen No Way Home." I'm like,
"Hey, you
Kyle?
Can say one more thing to add fuel to my I'm the best co-host is I'm caught up with pop culture, and at least I'm semi prepared as other than them.
I don't even know what pop culture is.
Shawn, did you watch the new Hunger Games film?
I watched it on TikTok in clips, in like 1,000 clips. I watched it, yes.
It's because Shawn is a pirate of the Caribbean. I remember we talked about that one.
That was like a half an episode topic of me being a pirate.
Literally,
sailing the 7 seas of illegal piracy.
I almost forgot about that. Where it's like,
sorry. Allegedly.
Allegedly, he accidentally admitted that he does it.
Frankie, allegedly.
Allegedly. Okay, but there's lots of evidence to back it up. Emma, you're eating popcorn now. What movie did you watch last night?
I watched the new Hunger Games.
So tell us about it. What was it like? How was it? I've only seen the first one, so I don't know anything about it.
It's like this movie set the year of the 10th annual Hunger Games. So it's like super far back.
What was the first one? The first movie was what? The
75th.
75th. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
So they're doing it for a long time. Oh, wow. I didn't get caught up on these movies. Like,
you know what? Funny you guys say that. Me and Dana, we watched all the Harry Potter movies like from December 1st all the way to. Really? Well, we watched those movies before, like all of them 1 to 7, and once we finished those, like those are Christmas, and I was like, we need something to watch in November every year now because November is such a dry month, and it's like. So we started watching. We watched all the Hunger Games movies in like 2 weeks. Like we watched a little bit every night.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah, good, so we'd watch like half an hour, 45 minutes every night for like a week and a half.
Or know what roughly. The best marathon would be to do? The Hobbit extended editions and then watched Lord of the Rings extended
Funny you
edition.
say that. Funny you say that. Me and Dana did that. We did The Hobbit. We did like them all in order. So we watched the oh my God, Rings of Power series on Amazon Prime at the start of November. Then we started watching the Lord of the Rings, or sorry, The Hobbit, and then the Lord of the Rings.
Didn't you do that with someone else too? I thought you said you and it wasn't just you and Dana. Oh my God. Unless
Oh, I did it with Butler once, Butler and Ian and
that's what I was
Cody.
thinking of. I was gonna say, I said Shawn. I said that's not Shawn's first rodeo binging all of Lord of the Rings. I said I know
I just love it. It's probably one of the better series like I grew up with, so I like it a
is.
lot.
It's like it's
Holds a special
fantastic.
place in my heart. I remember me and you and Brady going to each
Aw.
Hobbit
And
movie.
Chandler too. Yes, me, you, Brady, and
Yes, and
Chandler went
Chandler
to
too,
every
right?
single Lord of the Rings and Hobbit movie.
Every year.
Not Lord of the Rings. Hobbit. Well, same
Yeah,
universe, I guess.
because I remember in grade 3, I read the Hobbit book and I always loved it. And then you told me there was a movie coming out, so we went and seen it all 3 years. We had to wait
And
in
that
between.
was, oh my God. Oh yeah, it was like the same weekend every year for 3 years. And I remember it was like
Really?
it was like, you know what? I think Shawn even said me one time, he's like, you know what? It started with with all four of us. It's gonna end with all four of us. And it was just like
Yeah,
this feels like we're
I
like going
still
on that
remember.
television.
Speaking of that, remember me and you when we were really young. We went to see like the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and I remember your mom. Like I had given her the money, and I don't know. We were just in the car at Scotiabank in the square, and we were just talking about the movie and how cool it was gonna be, and I think that was uh number 4, I think, or
The fourth one,
5.
on Stranger Tides. Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
I remember because I remember like that was like the bit that was like my most anticipated movie as a kid because I was such a Pirates fanatic. Emily, what movies did you guys where you guys were like just completely obsessed with growing up? Emma, I think yours was Finding Nemo. I remember that.
No, I mine was the Hunger Games. I know what Emily
It was The Hunger Games?
Yeah,
What was mine?
it was Twilight.
Yes, I love Twilight.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about
I know you're
that.
such a Twilight girly.
I love Twilight.
Shawn,
You know
you
what?
like Twilight?
Funny. I have a funny story about. Sorry, Emma. You can go first.
It wasn't important.
Oh,
I'm more
I
enamored in
I have a funny story about Twilight. So me and my friend Yurgos, when we were young, when the last Twilight movie came out, we just decided one day we're gonna watch it, and he was down in Miramichi, staying with his grandparents for a little bit. I think it was in the summertime, is when he came down, and my parents would always drive us to the movies on the weekends, or like down into Douglastown, and we just like wander or whatever, and we went to see the last Twilight movie. And I remember back then I was so embarrassed because we walked into that last Twilight movie and me and him were the only guys. I'll never forget that in my entire life. Just it was the whole theater was full of girls. We were the only 2 guys watching the movie.
Oh
Nice.
my
I'll
God.
never forget. I was like, man, we're seeing a girls movie, and he's like, no, man, it's good, it's good.
Okay, but do you think that it is like a girl movie?
Um, I I did back then. Now I don't really care. If you like a movie, fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah.
I didn't think it was a girls' movie. But
Well, apparently the theater full of girls was. They thought it was.
I was probably there.
the very last Twilight movie, I remember seeing you there, Emily.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's so funny. Shawn, were you also there?
Honestly, maybe.
Probably were.
Shawn and Yurgos. Shawn, how was Yurgos, by the way? Yurgos, I hope you're listening to this podcast. I haven't seen Yurgos in forever, man.
He's
What's going on with him?
doing good, man. He plays gigs now for from Halifax and Fredericton and
Really?
St. John, and yeah, he does with his band. They play like rock and metal and stuff. He does well for himself. They always travel and stuff and do like I think they make pretty good money off it.
Oh,
Good.
geez. We got to get Yurgos on the podcast sometime. Tell
Oh
him that
man,
I'd
he
love
would
to.
be
Yurgos,
unreal to have
this is
on.
an open. this is an open invite for you, Yorgos. If you're listening to this, make sure that you listen to this. Anytime you want to come on here, feel free, buddy. I used to freaking love that guy. He was just like every time we Shawn say, yeah, Yorgos is here. We show up to Shawn's house and we go straight to Yorgos, and Shawn's just like, yeah, fuck you guys too. It's my house. My house,
he
and you guys don't care about me.
you know what? He was the biggest music fanatic that I know, and one of the biggest Lord of the Rings fanatics. He had all the games, and I remember we were at his grandma's in the summertime, sitting in her air conditioned living room, and we just would sit at the couch, sit on her those. You know how old people had those like, oh my god, the weird like feeling couches. I don't know how to explain it. Like yeah. So we'd sit on those couches and we'd play Lord of the Rings.
Oh shit!
Or
Really?
yeah, on his PS2. Yeah.
Shit, I love that.
And his grandma wouldn't kick us outside. If we went to my parents' house, they kick us outside.
It's like a
That's so
come
funny.
on,
What a
like
cute memory to have.
yeah, that's the best memory. Those are the best memories to have. But speaking of video games, by the way, I wanted to make sure we focused on a big topic, which was, of course, a little trailer came out. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of the game. It's like Grand Theft Auto 6. I think a trailer for it came out, I guess. Yeah, amazing trailer. What's everyone's thoughts on it? Emily, we'll start with you. Did you see the GTA 6 trailer?
I didn't, but you know what? I'm gonna watch it right now.
Yes, watch it. I thought you already watched it.
No.
I did.
I did. Emma, what did you think of it? This
I
is a Kyle with No Way Home situation again too. I'm like, all right, guys, this is what we're talking about, and then and then podcast comes. I didn't watch it.
Let me tell you. Okay, I work at a homeless shelter for youth. It was crazy last night. I was there until like almost 3 a.m. because the kids were going crazy. So I was supposed to work on a paper last night, and I didn't get to work on it. And then I had to work on it all day today.
But isn't GTA 6 like a priority though? It's like, okay, guys, all right, guys, everyone, stop, everyone. There's something important going on. I need to watch this.
You know what? You're so right, and I need to get my priorities in order because this just won't do.
Well, then, since you haven't seen it yet, but I thought you did, we'll come back to you at some point. Emma, what did you think of the trailer?
I liked it. I like GTA a lot. I think it's fun to play like with your friends. But I also don't know anything about like the actual storyline. Like I've never played the story mode or like done any of the tasks.
Yeah, well, that was me when I first got it. It was like GTA 4. I would literally just drive around and just do stunts and stuff and shoot people and everything. And I would never do the story mode until like a year later. I'm like, maybe I should try the story. It seems pretty interesting. And then just kind of went from there. But Shawn, you and I go way back with GTA. My God, it was like we basically, when we were younger, that was like our job. It was like, it felt like because we're doing these jobs for like Martin Madrazo in GTA.
Man, we had our regular 9 to 5, but that GTA was our 5 to 9.
Literally.
Man, okay.
And our parents are walking by and they hear us and like, who's this Martin guy you're talking about? Because we're talking like, oh, Martin sent us this mission. Martin sent us this. And like, who the fuck is Martin?
So
Martin Madrazo, he's a criminal. Like we work for.
So funny story about that. I got when I was at work the other night, we do like teen nights and stuff for the teens, and it was the day they released it early, so all the kids were talking about it, and I was like, oh man, that's awesome. It's like GTA 5 came out so long ago, and they were like, yeah, I was only 3 years old, and I was like, oh my god, I was like, I was 13. I was 13 when it came out.
It is so wild though. Oh my god, like when we think about it, Shawn, when GTA 5 came out, I think it came out the second week we were in high school. I had to think about that the other day. That was the second week we were in high school when GTA 5 came out. I'm like, oh my god. And like, well, now here's one thing that it's kind of interesting. I'm seeing lots of people kind of say, "Oh, it's too early. Like it's not coming out till 2025, and why do they have to release a trailer for it now?" But in reality, they didn't even need to release anything for this game. All they had to do was just say GTA 6. This is what it's about. Coming out in 2025. It would sell out like just like that. So they didn't really need to do anything. Like people saying, oh, maybe they didn't need a trailer because it's so far. It's like, no, they don't. Yeah, they didn't need to.
I
But
I have kind of a hot take on that trailer, if you don't mind me giving
oh
my
yes, go right ahead.
full
Yeah.
voice. So I'm gonna be like the kind of the devil's advocate because in my mind, this is what I think. So on one hand, this is one of the most hyped up games ever, I think, like in
Oh,
current time.
absolutely. Yeah.
Like the expectations are so high. And I think they did good by releasing a teaser. Personally, I don't like teaser trailers like that. I like gameplay trailers showing the polish of the game and where they're at, even if it's only like early access, like or early alpha or beta footage, like seeing the game. And the reason I got excited about this trailer, I wasn't the trailer was okay. It's just a bunch of like Vice City stuff, okay? It's pretty cool. But I got excited because seeing the two main characters, which are like I'm assuming like a Bonnie and Clyde type situation, it confirms the leaks that happened about a year ago on TikTok and Twitter, where it showed like coding all over the screen, but it was those two characters from the trailer or teaser running around, and it
Yes,
showed
that's
actual
right.
gameplay, which makes me hopeful because that was a year ago, and like it looked smooth, like pretty smooth for where it was at. So I think another it'll be 3 years by the time it's out from the time of that leak. So I think it has promise, but I want to wait and see another gameplay trailer that they actually release and one that wasn't leaked because I'm assuming did I send you? It's been so long ago. Did you see the actual leaked footage of the gameplay of that game?
I did. Yeah, that was like it was like last year. I think that happened.
Yeah, so you know
It
what I'm
was like
talking
one
about,
of the
like the coding all over the screen, but it was the two main, like those two characters. It was the woman and the man. There was gameplay for both of them.
Yep, that's right. And I remember even seeing it then. And you're right. If it looked good then, and they were just like
Like I
that
would have
was
played it like that. I
yes.
would
Oh
have.
my god, like that was like GTA 5 graphics, which I mean are still great, but I mean with enough. I mean, of course, like Red Dead graphics are better than GTA 5.
And okay, one more thing. I don't. My expectations for the story are extremely low, and I'll tell you why. Is because GTA 4, like, it didn't exactly have a happy ending, but it was. Yeah, I guess it depended. And then GTA 5, it also depended on your choices, but mostly good endings for all the characters. So with the Bonnie and Clyde situation, I don't know if you know the story of the actual Bonnie and Clyde. They died at the end. They were killed.
So what? Maybe they'll both
I
die.
don't want another situation of like spoil this is spoilers by the way for Red Dead 2. But I don't want another Arthur Morgan dead situation. That really sucks and I really really hate it because it makes the character you love the most die. Same as like The Last of Us 2. Spoiler alert, they killed Joel off. And it
Yeah,
just pisses me off because they companies it seems like a lot of games and a lot of like movies and pop culture kill the main character for that dramatic effect, but for me it just pisses me off. Like why kill a great character when they have so much potential? Like
well, I mean, look, like Arthur Morgan, I mean, like I think it was a perfectly well handled death. Like I think, he had a great arc. We saw his redemption. We saw all this stuff like that. Like it really worked. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
but
And same with John Marston. Yeah.
if you
Like,
chose the redemption path, like he has nothing left by the end, and he tried to be the most honorable and the best he could to everybody. If you chose like the honorable path, and it sucks. It's like it shows the hero gets nothing.
true, but I mean, then again, I mean, it also is a good because they're not actually good people. Like they are,
No, no.
they are criminals. So it is one of those things where it's, I mean, sure they can try to redeem themselves and they could succeed at redeeming themselves, but in the end, it's their past catches up with them. Like you can't really escape that. So that's
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
where I get that.
Actually, no. You're right. You're right. I agree with your take on that. Yeah, the past catches up with them because of
Exactly.
past
Same deal
actions.
with like spoiler alert for Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul for anybody who hasn't caught up on those. Seeing where Walt and Saul's story both ends up in there, it's you want a happy ending for them, even though they are horrible people. But in the end, what they do, even though they might redeem themselves, ultimately all their actions catch up with them and they have to face, you know.
But it had one silver lining. El Camino movie. That it kind of like I like Breaking Bad because of El Camino.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And I mean, Better Call Saul is a little bit more different where, you know, we see how Saul's story ends with, spoiler alert, Saul ends up in jail, and we were all hoping maybe he might get away or something like that. But, you know, it's also one of those, you know, he is
But
a
I
criminal.
don't like that trend in pop culture where they seem to just do that now. Like that's such a prevalent trend. Like the main hero gets fucked in the end. Like it's terrible.
They get fucked or he gets killed.
Oh my God. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't work out for them, and maybe like I like the happy ending, I guess, in a way.
No, absolutely.
Like some of them just aren't satisfying.
Yeah, no.
Anyway,
Like,
I
get
can
that
talk
take.
about this all night, but my main point being, I'm skeptical of the story of GTA 6 because I don't want it to end like Bonnie and Clyde did, and I feel like that's the theme they're going for.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, we'll see how it gets handled. Emily, do you have much experience with GTA or any of the GTA
We
games?
played
Or
GTA together at Olivia Casey's house.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I just watched the trailer. That looks like it's gonna be so much fun.
it does, doesn't
I
it?
do understand Sean's point with the like, I would like to see gameplay because I want
Yeah.
to see what's different from this one that 10 years ago. Like
If
y'all
you
know,
look up you can still find it on TikTok. If you search up GTA 6 leaked gameplay,
I'm actually looking at it right now. I have my monitor because I'm a professional podcaster.
Yeah, she's very professional, and yet she still hasn't started her own.
No, okay, that's what I wanted to mention earlier, but I forgot. Me and Emma actually talked about this.
Ooh.
We actually talked about like us sitting down like for an hour once a week. We play Roblox and we talk.
Oh, yes.
So that
Yes.
would be so much fun.
I think it would be fun.
I'll
I think
be
we
I'll be down to be a
start that
guest
next
because I could download it on my computer.
And
Yeah.
Sean would rack up the views.
We all play Roblox tonight.
I gotta download
Okay,
it.
Emma, we gotta talk about our YouTube channel. I think it should be a YouTube channel.
I thought we were going to be Twitch streamers.
Oh, that's what we were gonna do. We were gonna do Twitch. Right, I forgot.
Shameless plug.
We don't have an account yet.
Are you going to
Okay.
do some Twitch streaming for GTA?
I can't afford that shit.
No, neither can I. I was thinking more like Minecraft.
Okay, that's easy.
I was
That's
thinking
easy.
anything that I've already purchased.
Yeah, God, yeah. Imagine how much GTA. Yeah,
2048.
GTA 6
Animal
comes out in 2025. How much is that going to be then?
Oh my God, that'd blow my PC up.
I'm gonna trade my dog for GTA 6. I'm sorry. No,
Ozzy.
I'm kidding. I love you, Ozzy. I
Not
would.
that much.
No, I don't love GTA 6 that much. I kill for that dog. But yeah, but I mean, yeah, like as you said, like I mean, like it will be a little tricky to see. I mean, it's weird because, like, you know, yes, we'd love to see gameplay and stuff like that. But then again, Red Dead 2, when they released that first trailer, that was all we needed. I was like, if that's all we get for a trailer, I'm fine until it comes out. And same with GTA 6. It literally, if that's all we see of GTA 6, you know, just going by the leaks that came out, I am completely sold on it. Like, I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. On
Like to explore.
Oh, did you find something?
Vice City. Is that where it is?
Yes, Vice City, and that's like one of the best games
Which is
of all time
supposed to
too. Like,
be Florida in the 80s.
That was GTA 3.
Oh, so is this modern day Miami?
modern
Yes.
day, yeah.
Okay.
And they're
then-
using like social media and stuff like that, and like we see it in the trailer we're seeing it looks like TikTok and stuff like that. It might play
You know
some
what?
sort of a factor.
Speaking of GTA 3, I would have loved to have a cameo from what was it? What was his name? The main character, Vinny?
In
I can't think
Vice City or GTA 3?
Oh no, Tommy. That was
Tommy
his name.
Vercetti. Yeah.
Yeah, his
Played
voice
by Ray
actor.
Liotta, who passed
Yeah,
away.
I think. Yeah, he would have been that would have been cool for a cameo of some sort. But rest in peace.
Yes, well, maybe. I mean, like he died last year, maybe, and this has been in development for years. Maybe they snuck some sort of, or they might use some archive footage of him, maybe. So there's still potential.
You might be right because of how far in the gameplay like the leaks were. They could have already done the voice lines, just not implemented them.
God, like I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't know much more specifics about how long they've been working on it, but I think they've been working on GTA 6 for I'd say maybe 2020, 2021. Like they've been
Well,
working
to
on it for
have
a
like
long
last
time.
year, those leaks were like fairly decent
Oh
gameplay.
yes, like
So like obviously quite a while.
definitely, absolutely. But yeah, just super excited for GTA 6. We all are on this panel. And we will definitely stay tuned to Emily and Emma's Twitch streaming as they will stream it 2 years from now if they can afford it, if they don't have to sell their apartments or anything to be able to purchase.
Okay, but Emma, I think that if we do it like so you guys can only hear us, but I can see Emma right now. Emma, you look cool in that setup. Like that should be the one that you use.
It is like honestly,
Looks
you
cool.
guys listening can't see this, but I mean, like Emma, as soon as the camera turned on and like the call started, I said, "Holy shit, Emma's camera is good quality." I said, "You get a new
Yeah.
camera?" She's like, "No, it's just my phone."
All
Even
jokes aside, yeah, you would have a good good looking setup to be a streamer with
see?
the lights and stuff.
What would your slogan be? What's going on, guys? Emma B here. I don't know, like
Emma B? Oh,
Emma
Emma.
B.
I honestly don't
That's her
know.
last name.
Oh, yeah, you could your subscribers could be like your like arrows. You call them your little arrows because your last name is Bose.
We've
Bose
heard
and
that.
arrows.
Oh, I know. EB squared because Emma Bose, Emily Bryenton, EB squared.
He
Hey
used to
guys.
be squared in middle school.
Yeah.
Oh, is it actually? Oh shit. Hey
Shout out
guys,
to
EB
Mr.
squared
Bosma,
here.
our homeroom
And we're
teacher.
If he could see us now.
The
Hi,
big E. The
hi,
big
Mr.
E.
Bosma. There's a chance he could watch this, I feel.
Actually, there is probably that's a good probability.
what
Actually,
Bosma? What's his first name?
Garrett.
Garrett.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's John Bosma's son. John,
Yeah.
if you're listening to this, we're shouting
Well,
out your
that's what I'm
son.
thinking. I feel like John might listen. So
I think John. Did I have John on the podcast yet? I don't know if I did or not.
Oh.
I will now. John's listened to this and said, "You better fucking call me now."
I'm actually in one of his books. I've applied for a scholarship for him, and I had to write an essay about like remembrance.
Oh yes, John's a great writer too. John's
Yeah.
and he's published and he's done lots of
There's
plays and
a
stuff like that.
self
Fantastic.
promo / Bosma promo.
Shout out to you guys, the Bosmas. So our last solo or not solo discussion, because I have 4 of you with me. Our last big focus discussion is with regards to this whole thing with so you guys, of course, Amber Turd. Yes, as soon as I mentioned this to you guys in our group, it was the first thing Emma says is, "Doesn't she shit in beds?" I'm like, yes, you're right. Because this comes to us from where is it? People.com. It's Zack Snyder. So of course he directed Aquaman and Man of Steel and stuff like that. And the article says Zack Snyder doesn't get why some people don't like Amber Heard. I would work with her in a second. Zack Snyder is a fan of Amber Heard. The director, 57, collaborated with Heard on his Justice League film, in which she played Mera, comic book character, which she reprises again in the upcoming Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, directed by James Wan. And then during a wide-ranging interview with the Hollywood Reporter, Snyder said he doesn't understand the online backlash Heard, 37, gets in the wake of her court battles with ex-husband Johnny Depp. And he says, "I just don't get it. If other people don't like her, I don't know what to say. I would work with her in a second." And said the removal director. Yeah, that's it. And then there was something else. I feel like
Without getting controversial, he is an L take. L.
It's tricky. Like, I mean, like, look, first off, where do you guys stand on Amber Heard with regards to, I mean, not just her reputation now, but I mean, if you were, I mean, like, whether you guys are fans of Aquaman or whatever, are you guys interested in even seeing Aquaman 2 if she's in it?
Okay, I need to start off with a baseline here. So what was the verdict in court? I can't remember.
The verdict
was-
was they ruled in favor of Johnny Depp.
Okay, so my take is the courts ruled that he was innocent.
Basically, yeah. I mean,
And
like,
she was allowed
there were
to
some
run.
counts that she won over him. I guess basically, in speaking in sports terms, Johnny Depp won 10, she won 2 or 3 or something like that. That's basically what it was. So basically, Johnny Depp smoked her ass in court.
Mm-hmm. And I think that you should probably rule in favor with the law and not give this woman a job.
I mean, like, here's one thing though. I respect Zack Snyder because he seems like one of the I mean, like, despite no matter what controversies surround people and stuff like that, he's like, I'll defend you. Like, we work together, we're friends, I consider you a close friend or whatever. But the problem I have with this whole situation, I've heard some people, I saw someone on Reddit and they compared Amber Heard with Robert Downey Jr. saying, well, Robert Downey Jr. did all this stuff years ago and people want to work with him and this and that. The problem is that Robert Downey Jr. was held accountable for his actions and he took responsibility for his actions. That he did all kinds of bad shit. Amber Heard, you see in all her interviews, she's still saying, I'm
Well,
still the victim.
and RDJ he redeemed himself. He
Oh,
took
he
he did
did.
he took all the hits and he redeemed himself.
Yes, like he lost jobs, he lost like all kinds of stuff. He was arrested so many times, but he didn't try to say, "Oh, it was someone else's fault." Like he owned up to it. Amber Heard's problem, and same with like Ezra Miller, they haven't owned up to it. And that's the problem with these people. I mean, like, now, if they own up to it, does that make them a better person? No, it doesn't. But I mean, that's why Robert Downey Jr. was given a second chance where he owned up to it. He faced the consequences. And look at him now. He's like one of probably like the biggest star in the world right now. It even says something about Ezra Miller on here too. It said Zack Snyder talks about Ezra Miller. He says, did a great job in that Flash movie. It's very difficult to play against yourself. I agree. He did a fantastic job in the Flash, but you can't have Ezra back as the Flash. That's the way I see it. You just can't have him back in that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
I think there's a certain point where some people their actions are just irredeemable.
no, and that's the
Depends on
problem.
how many and to what degree, I guess.
And I mean, like, we like this woman here, we like there's literally evidence of her admitting that she abused him and all that stuff like that. Emily, where you stand on Amber Heard? Like, what do you think of her? Do you think studios should give her another chance? What do you think?
Well, I see it's hard because like I'm taking a perspective of like informed care. It sounds like so dumb, but like I know that like she's vulnerable now, like to like a lot more things. You know what I mean? So like taking financial security away on top of like everything else, I'm just like, no,
I
I
mean,
don't.
it's like, well, then again, at the end of the day, I mean, like, it is a business that they're doing too. I mean, like, it's like Zack Snyder can say all he wants. That, oh yeah, I'd work with her in a heartbeat. But it's like, well, then again, is he going to actually? Because I mean, at the end of the day, he's also a businessman. He's a producer. He's a filmmaker and stuff. So whether he's actually going to want to take a chance on her, like, that's not where. I guess it's not entirely his decision. Like the studios can overrule that and say we don't want her associated with us in any way. Like it's tricky. Like I saw that and it's got people torn. Like, oh, maybe give her a second chance, maybe. And then there's some people just no, don't give her a second chance. Shawn, where do you stand? Like, do you think they should give her a chance? Do you think Zack Snyder would ever work with her again? What's your take?
I don't know, and it's hard to say because like looking at this from my opinion, putting my opinion aside, people have their reputations to look out for, and I feel like that Zack Snyder just took a hit by saying that because it's in the headlines now, and you know the way the internet is, like they'll tear someone down for being that way, like toxic in any way, or like what they perceive to be as toxic.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would have a great I'd have more respect for Amber Heard. I mean, like, I don't have any respect for her, but I'd have a little bit more respect for her if she would own up to what she did. Because there's literally, like, I mean, like, was Johnny Depp a saint? No, he had his problems too. Like, let's be fair. He was the victim here, but he did have his share of problems before the Amber Heard stuff happened with drinking and all that. But if she would at least just own up to what she did, like, that's part of being an adult. You got to
Because
face
Johnny owned up to what he did. He was like, yeah.
like, literally, yeah. Will Smith owned up to what he did. I think what he did was stupid, but he owned up in the end and said, you know what? I'm taking responsibility for what I did. I accept whatever the Academy does to me. You know what I mean? Like, that accountability is everything. You know what I mean? Like, if I don't know, let's say Emma in the middle of this podcast, we're doing an in-person podcast, Emma walks up and she punches me in the face. And she tries to justify it in a later episode and said, and oh no, just oh, like Frankie just edited the photos and the footage to make me look bad and stuff like that, and just refuses to take responsibility. People, like, like, would you guys accept that from Emma, even though you guys literally just witnessed her assault me?
Well, no.
Actions have consequences. Accountability is
But
everything.
like no. I don't know.
It's a real tricky subject, isn't it? It is very, very tricky.
I do kind of agree with Shawn because this guy's getting nailed in the press over a hypothetical right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Obviously, that means that you probably shouldn't work with her because look at this guy. He didn't even work with her and he's getting shit on.
Well, he did work with her. Well, he worked with her in Justice League, Aquaman, and stuff like that. He's basically saying he would work with her again. Well, because they filmed Aquaman 2 before the verdict even happened. And now he's saying, like, like, post-verdict, he said, oh, yeah, I'd work with her again. And it's like, well, from a personal standpoint, okay, that's understandable. From a business point of view, you can't. Like, that's just my opinion. I mean, like,
because it doesn't just it makes your whole studio look bad.
Yes, exactly.
It's the public's perception.
Yeah, exactly. Zack Snyder's listening to this podcast, say, "Who the fuck is this guy? Tell me how to run my movie. Tell me how to make my movie." But that's it. Like, it's you can't cast someone who you think is going to be a liability. Now, whether he will or not, that it's just a statement. And I know there's some people saying, "Oh, what a god, he can't cast Amber Heard." No, he didn't say he was going to. He just said he would work with her again. Like, there's people like to blow things up out of proportion. But yeah, that's such an interesting like, it's got me torn because I mean, like, you want to see both sides, but at the end of the day, it's just rough. So we'll kind of go through each of his and just say, like, do you think there's some sort of hope for Amber Heard somewhere down the line? Like, do you think there is? Yes, no, maybe. Emily, we'll start with you.
I think that, like, I think it's still pretty fresh. And I think just, like, even for, like, the sake of, like, taking a little bit of accountability, like, maybe giving it some time to breathe, Because, like, people haven't forgotten. Like, it didn't happen that long ago. And, like, especially, like, probably in, like, their worlds, like, it's, like, a very prominent thing, right?
Yeah, it is still fairly fresh, 2022. I mean, like, it was very, I mean, like, it feels like just yesterday when we were all, oh, what's the verdict gonna be? And so, like, yeah, it will definitely take some time. And I mean, if she takes accountability, then that will go a long way. Emma, how about you?
I think there's a chance for her in a good chunk of time, probably.
Like,
Once she can take time and make a good apology,
yeah,
I think that she'd
probably do good things with this time. Like, make it worth your while.
Yeah.
Yes, no, definitely. Instead of just, it was all rigged, and I just he just
right
hit
back
me. He hit me, and just I said that me, and just all this. It's like, fuck, man. Like, just, oh my god. I watched that documentary and I thought it was so funny.
There's a documentary on it?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's on Netflix. It's
really?
It's 3 episode just going through the whole court case, basically.
Oh, I need to watch that.
Yeah, no, it's actually pretty good. Actually, I actually watched it. I laughed a few times. It was just Just hearing Johnny's side was sad because I mean, like, just hearing what he had to go through was just upsetting. But then just hearing her where she's just so full of shit, where she's like, he punched me this way, and then they call the witnesses up, and they're just like, no, that didn't happen. Like, Shawn, how about you? Where do you stand? Yes, no, maybe.
You know what? I really do believe in second chances, but I don't believe in giving them for free. She's definitely gonna have to work for it. Like, she's dug herself a humongous hole, like with no end in sight. Like, she's gonna have to climb up and to fix that. Like, go through hoops to really to if ever, because you've dug yourself a hole that you may never get out of.
No, like and I mean it's certainly not going to be easy, that's for sure. But I mean, like we said, with someone like Robert Downey Jr., where he took accountability for his actions and owned up to it. I think that can go a long way. Who's that? Hey, Casey. Yeah, Casey. Wait, come on, Casey. Just a second. Casey was on. If you guys don't remember, she was on before. She was on in our what? Back in August, was it? I can't remember now.
Yeah, sometime in the summer.
Sometime in the summer. Yeah. So I holy fuck.
Hello,
Kyle.
what's going on?
Did
you already start?
Dude, we started a fucking hour ago.
You told me 9:30.
9:30. No, I said 8:30. I was wondering where you were.
Kyle, you
Frankie, you told me 9:30.
Are you shitting me?
Frankie, you said 9:30.
Fuck. Well,
Maybe
he's here, guys. It's
time if you didn't leave the group chat.
Listen, he messaged me. He said, "Kyle, come on at 9:30."
No.
So I came on. He sent me the link at 9:30. Or no, he sent it to me earlier. I tried to join from 9:30, and I just got on now. Did I miss? What did I miss? Anything?
Missed the entire fucking podcast.
Are we done?
Pretty much. We just literally we just touched on the last subject. Emma's roommate came in, and I was gonna ask her a couple questions, and then you came on, and I'm like, what the fuck? This all happens at the very end. But this is an like literally I'm putting the extravaganza in the 100th episode extravaganza.
Hey. Should it be 2 parts? Question mark. 2 parts.
No. Parts. What the
like
fuck?
101.5.
Okay, you know what? All right, Kyle. We'll just ask you real quick questions. Question number 1: what do you think about us reaching 100 episodes? Number 2: what do you think of the GTA 6 trailer? Number 3: what do you think about Amber Heard?
Okay, number 1, congrats, Frankie. That's awesome. I'm glad I could be a part of it and help you get to 100 episodes. Number 2, the GTA trailer, I was let down by it. It just reminded me of GTA 5. So I wasn't the biggest fan of it. And number 3, what do I think of Amber Heard? I think she's a turd. So that's all I can say about her. The best intro to a podcast ever.
Oh my god.
Oh no, this would be the outro, I guess.
Well, no time you showed up though, Kyle. Well, we waited for like 20 minutes, and we're like, you know what? I'm like, and then we messaged you, and you weren't coming on. I was like, all right, fuck it. You know what? Let's just start. If he comes on, he comes on. And then by the end, I completely forgot that. Yeah, I was like, I think he just forgot. He just fell asleep.
Nope, I didn't forget. I came on at the scheduled time, but
No,
you are making me look bad as a co-host. A co-host. You're my co-host. I'm Frankie's co-host, but you're like my little sidekick. I'm Frankie's co-host, and you're my sidekick. You're my sidekick, Shawn. You know what? You're like Green Hornet. I'm like Seth Rogen, and you're like the guy who plays Kato. You're my Kato. No. And like Frankie's kind of like my dad. Robin. Okay, so Frankie is like my Thomas and Martha Wayne, and you are like my Robin. No. You're my Alfred. No, I'm Batman, and you're Robin.
Turn it
okay,
off.
I'll settle for. Can I be Alfred?
I'm like Rick off The Walking Dead, and you're like Carl.
Well, Carl survived longer than Rick. Oh wait, no, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Oh my God, we've had so much spoilers in this podcast about video games and pop culture.
Oh,
Sean's
it's fine. Oh my God, we literally.
Wait, Frankie, answer the question.
Yeah.
Are you my dad, and am I the Green Hornet, and Kyle is my Kato?
What?
Frankie?
Am I your dad? What do you mean?
Like, well,
Comforting.
the Green Hornet guy. So, Seth, you ever watched the movie The Green Hornet?
I never saw it, no, but I know Seth Rogen's in
Okay,
it.
so Batman, you're my Thomas and Martha Wayne, dying in the alley.
Okay, so that's me. I'm dead.
Oh no, actually, that doesn't make sense. You're my Batman, and I'm your Alfred, and Kyle's Robin.
How about I just be the Joker and I kill all he is?
Well,
Zinger.
Oh man. Oh man. This is such a perfect 100th episode. Wow, this is awesome. Kacey, so since you're on, we might as well just ask you. So how have things been? Oh yeah, wait here. We'll ask you the 3 questions that I asked Kyle. Number 1, what are your thoughts on 100 episodes? What do you think of the GTA 6 trailer, and what do you think of Amber Heard?
Number 1, I think that's amazing. Number 2, I have not watched the GTA 6 trailer, but I can see it right here, actually.
No, this is gameplay that's been
Okay, never mind.
That's better.
Never mind. So I haven't watched it. And number 3, I was just asking Emma that I didn't.
Yeah,
I don't
what
know
Amber Heard.
what happened with Amber Heard recently.
Well, basically, the director of Justice League said he would work with her again in a heartbeat, and we're like, she has to take some
facing
accountability.
backlash.
I don't know about that. I mean, for as long as I'm not in bed, I guess.
Yeah, as long as she doesn't know where I sleep.
That's it, though. You're not wrong there. I love that. Well, you know what, guys? This has been a great segment. Okay, I'm gonna ask you guys. So, of course, I mentioned I was gonna do the Spotify polls where I say who's the best duo. But since I have a lot of you guys on here, should I do each individual ones, or do you want me to do just duos?
What is it?
Do each individual what?
Yeah, like Emma, Kacey, Emily, Shawn, Kyle.
No. Do me and Kyle. Well, actually, no.
Oh,
Do all of us separately. Because I will win. I will have the most
Kacey
votes.
will win.
Sure you vote for me.
Kacey will win because she wasn't in here until the last.
Frankie, I thought you were proposing a vote like they did in that Pirates of the Caribbean movie to vote for the Pirate King. Everybody's gonna vote for
I am the
themselves.
Pirate King.
The podcast king.
I'm the podcast king.
Okay. Let me give a question to the audience. We'll put a poll up. Who is the amazing / best co-host / sidekick on this podcast?
Ozzy.
Ozzy, yes. Ozzy is pretty good. He's a good co-host.
Like,
I love how when he said that there were just crickets.
Frankie, we all know that I'm literally the co-host of this show, and
We'll let the
Kyle's my
audience decide.
Kato. He is
We'll
my
let the
sidekick.
audience decide. We'll see what they think.
Sean, I'll just give it to you.
No, Emily. Don't.
Yes.
All right. Well, guys, you know what we will do? I think we will call it for this segment. Before we go, do you guys have any final words you'd like to say to the audience or anything? Emma, we'll start with you.
I don't really got much to say. It's been a blast. Always happy to be back, and happy to be on your 100th. Thank you very much.
I am very happy to have you. Emily, how about you?
Thank you for having me. Very proud of you for getting 100. And also, like what Shawn was saying earlier about like all the people that you've had like in the 100, like how many more people are you gonna have within the next 200, right? So that's like so exciting to see.
Hopefully, us again.
Yeah.
Oh, probably. This might be the last one, maybe. Shawn, how about you on that note?
You know what, man? I was gonna say something stupid, but I agree with Emily. I'm proud of you. I always knew you'd take the podcast this far. So
Of course.
Love you long time.
Love you.
I'm
I
proud
love
of
you.
you. I'm proud of you for doing it, and you're doing something that, like, every time I talk about your podcast with anybody now, I'm like, oh man, Frankie got so and so on, or this person on, or like Cyrus on. They're like, no way, Frankie's getting all these crazy people on there, and they're like, I'm gonna have to tune in.
Yes, spread the word. Please spread the word. We'd love to grow this show.
Some people watch it because I'm on the episodes too. Not to flex, but yeah.
That was the biggest fucking flex I ever
Some
heard.
people request me to be on this show.
Yes, they did too. I will give you that. Emma.
Frankie, who's okay? You can check the views. What episodes have more views? Like, who has the most total views? Me and Kyle, or Emily and Emma? And I want you to post it on your socials so everybody knows.
Okay,
The
all right.
socials is a little unnecessary. Oh, 1 sec there, friend.
I will check it and compare each one, all of them in total, and then I will get back to you guys on this. This one here, we'll see. Maybe this one here, maybe nobody will watch it. We'll see.
Imagine I cry.
Kyle, how about you? Any final words, you freaking tardy bastard?
Well, you didn't. You told me 9:30, so I joined when I was supposed to.
Oh my god.
But anyway, good job, Frankie. You're doing great. Keep it up. And I guess that's all, folks.
All right.
all, folks.
Casey, how about you? Is Casey still there?
She left.
She left. Okay. I had a great time, Frankie. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Casey. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into this part. We are going to do a little throwback here after some music, and we're gonna play the very first interview from the very first episode as a throwback, so you can hear.
It's gonna be a long episode for you.
It's gonna be a long episode, yeah. And so you'll hear just how shitty the mic quality was back then compared to now. But super excited for to just hear that. I'll be like, oh my god, it's so weird. But anyways, guys, thank you for tuning in, and we'll take a quick break, but we'll be back with a throwback interview. Until then, this is Frankie, Emma, Emily, Shawn, Emma, or shit, I just said Emma. Shawn, damn it. Okay, I'd say that again. This is Frankie, Emma, Emily, Shawn, Kyle, and Casey, somewhere in the world, signing off. Thank you, guys.
Toodaloo. Ciao. Ciao.
All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It is very good to be here on this gorgeous, cold Thursday night. So welcome to the pilot episode of the Corcoran Entertainment Show. And we are thrilled to introduce our first guest. As I said previously, he is very well known to local community theater patrons. You may have seen him in productions from the Miramichi Valley High School Drama Club, CM Productions, the Heritage Players, and he's also, I forgot to mention this in the intro, he's partaking in the first Corcoran Entertainment production, the Evening of One Acts. Yeah. Jansen Blacquier, welcome to the show, buddy. It's great to have you on.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Frank. It's just an honor, man. I'm so glad you got me on for the first episode, and God, well,
this is great. I can just feel the energy. For those of you who don't know Jansen as well as I do, the energy off this man, I'm always astonished by it. Like I can just feel it. I can feel it through my computer screen, man. It's truly something. So tell me a little bit. I mean, like, so I'll give you guys a little bit of background. I've known Jansen for, geez, I'm trying to think how long I've known you now. About maybe 5 years.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So just tell us a little bit. I mean, like, for people who know you or have seen you in shows, how would you get started in theater? Like, when did you start? And just tell us a bit about yourself. We want to know about you.
Right. Well, hey everyone. I guess, like, for me, when it comes to theater, I started back. My first ever show I ever was a part of was back in grade 2 at the long but not forgotten Harkins Elementary.
Oh boy!
Just played a small little role in as just Santa Claus in one of the plays. Just a nice start. And then
he's no Tim Allen, but
oh man, absolutely not. But after that, I got involved with a little group with my grandfather. Actually, it was we went down an hour drive every Monday night to a little church, and we would do something called the Sunbrook Singers, where a bunch of him and his old friends, and we'd all get down and sing a bunch of old folk songs. And it was a big dinner theater that would happen around November. And God, it was great. It was great exposure. It was like just everything I ever wanted. And God, I got my charisma from somewhere, eh?
No, well, there you go. Shout out to Dewey. Dewey, if you're listening to this right now.
Absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't be here without him. So
No,
if he
absolutely.
ever figures out how to get this, then absolutely.
And then you also played one of the hyenas in The Lion King, did you? And,
right.
yeah.
You're right. Yeah. So probably my first exposure to like modern, like more professional theater was through JMH's The Lion King. Well, I auditioned back in my grade 8 year, and I got cast as Ed the Hyena in The Lion King. So not a single actual line to me, but God, I had so much fun. It was great memories. Getting to act with Jack Forrest and Justin and Abby Pino and all those. It was great. It just fueled my just fueled everything that came forward through MV. And God, grade 9, it was good to me. I had that my first role at MVHS with Moonface Martin and Cole Porter's Anything Goes. And God, it's a phenomenal show. Like, the cast had so much chemistry, helped me get introduced to everything, and man, it was lovely. And actually, speaking of Anything Goes, that's exactly the first show.
True. Small little Stan Lee cameo in there that I.
You're right.
That's the best way to put it.
Oh yeah, I'm done with theater, but
like you have racked up quite the resume, though. I mean, like, Sound of Music, Mary Poppins, Oklahoma. Like, is there anyone in particular that's like your number one favorite, or is it hard to choose one? Just God, there's so many.
I've been my mom has always asked me that, and to me, Bert from Mary Poppins was a dream role of mine.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh,
love that one. Love that one.
It was so good. It was lively. I loved working with Lauren, and
shout out to Lauren McCabe if you're listening to this.
Absolutely. But however, despite that, I love that show. Like, it's gonna be in my heart forever. My favorite role I ever did was Will Parker in Oklahoma.
Yes, man. That is absolutely that. I love that one so much.
With Will, it was that fun of. It was so much fun being able to play this love-struck idiot who had like no insight into anything that was happening. And God, I took that to heart. I loved it. The cast was so fun to work with. Getting to work with actually a bunch of newcomers whenever it came on my end with Emily and Dave. But overall, it was like every single joke of mine landed. And if I thrive off of the reaction from the community. And God, whenever like every single line, no matter like it was an entrance, I was exiting, it was during a song, God, I loved it. And,
no, I love that one. And and that was another example of how you could feel the energy off you. Like it just poured out of you, man. Like, it was so good. And it's funny because I was gonna mention this too. We had actually seen Oklahoma in New York.
Oh yeah,
which was an interesting take on it for sure. Absolutely. I mean, which is funny for me because that was my first impression of Oklahoma. I had never watched it or anything before. The only thing I knew of was What a Beautiful Morning, which, I mean, who doesn't know that one? But that was my first impression of it too. And so I remember as soon as I heard that that's what the drama club was doing, I was like, oh, really? Is that what you're doing? And then I was like, okay, this is what we should have saw in New York. But what would you give your if you had to give a review of that one? What would your review be if you were to be a critic right now? Roger Ebert
of the 2019 one we saw on Broadway?
Yep, that's correct. Yep.
Oh God. Now, I thought the singing was great, and I loved.
Oh my God, beautiful. Ali Stroker. Oh my God.
Oh God. I mean, I could listen to that soundtrack on repeat. It was gorgeous. And in concept, the idea of bringing it to a more like kind of modern setting and using those modern elements could be really interesting and good for storytelling. I'll be honest, I didn't dislike it as much as a lot of the other people on the trip. However, I do recognize a lot of the flaws, and of course we have like the boots.
Oh
the
my
boots
God!
will always live in
The
my
hell
head,
was
man.
that? I literally.
So, for those who don't know, in Oklahoma is a very dance-filled show, and at one point, right before the second act hits, or in some shows after, like once it begins, there is a large dance sequence. They're essentially a dream sequence that Lori is having, and so we come back in, and lights off, like we're getting ready for the show to start, and in comes this woman, bright white sparkling t-shirt with "Dream Baby Dream" right on it, and God, already it was like absolutely shocking.
I was nauseous. It was like 20 minutes of her just right in the middle of the stage or whatever that was. That wasn't even really a stage. It was, it was like a little box something. Almost. But I was getting so nauseous. It was just 20 minutes of just and not even music. They didn't even play music at one point. I'm like, oh my God. But it was an interesting take on it for sure, though. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And then I think the pinnacle moment that's stuck in all of our heads is right in the middle, we're already like so confused of what's happening. And right from the center, like right from above, out drops a pair of boots. And then two more. And then 18 of them all just come down, spread across the floor. And I look over to somebody, and we're trying so hard not to lose it.
Lose it as in laugh, or lose it as in what the hell am I watching, and like get up and leave?
A little bit of both, you know.
Oh my God! Well, it was just great. Well, and then also too, we cannot forget the ending. Spoiler alert for anyone who doesn't know what happens in Oklahoma, but it's whatever. The whole standoff at the end where Curly shoots Judd, and it looks almost like, I'm not gonna lie, I thought for a second Curly got shot. The blood splatters back on his face, and then Judd does this little walk around, and then he just decides to just drop dead. And I was like, wait, what? So, I mean, well, of course, for me, since that's my first impression of Oklahoma, not having seen the movie or anything like that, I was just saying, like, what the hell am I doing? And then when I found out what they're doing, I'm like, what are you guys doing for a show? Like, this is, I don't know what you're talking about. But no, I gotta say though that you guys did it justice. You guys did the justice it deserved, and you are Will Parker, man. You really are. Like, really. For those of you who haven't seen it, I feel terrible for you. But no, that's
thank you. You flatter me.
No, my gosh, man. Well, and then one thing for sure I was going to say, because remember that show, Oklahoma, was what, like 3 hours long? And our favorite Broadway play was only about an hour and 30 minutes. It was too short, and that was, of course, Come From Away. And I know there's lots of people around here who are talking about Come From Away. What can you tell us about your experience having seen that show? That one was just, Well,
not only Come From Away has a lot of, I guess, emotional resonance with me. Not only, from the like maritime culture that it holds and everything like that, but it was my first Broadway show that I ever seen, right? And you come there with like an expectation, because all I heard about the show before going in is that it was about 9/11, and I thought it was going to be a very serious, very like somber type of show. Like,
yeah, exactly, yeah.
And when you get in there and everything starts, it's a smile lit up on my face the minute Welcome to the Rock began playing.
Oh, goosebumps, man, goosebumps. Oh, it's so good.
And just it's lively. It does respect to like the horrible, like it shows an entire side of the 9/11 tragedy that like I think is not only like really important, just with like the amount of selflessness that was shown from the people of Gander, and the like it's such a horrible point in human history.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely.
and yet we still see like humanity and like hope shine through like the entire show. And God, it's wonderful. For anyone who hasn't seen it, especially as a Maritimer, do it. Like, it's worth the trip just to get down there sometime, because God, it sticks with you. And
absolutely. But it was so funny watching that with an American audience, because you could tell who was Canadian and who wasn't. We're making all these references. Oh, we're gonna go down to Shappers, or we're gonna go to Tim's, and our whole crew is losing their minds. And like, I feel like some of the Americans were just thinking like, "Oh my God, is this what everyone in Canada's like?" I'm never going down there.
No. It's just us. Woo-lee.
Oh no, but and then I even hear of some people's like people saying in comments of like those the posts come from Whiteputs and stuff like that. Oh, this made me want to move to Canada. This made me want to do this. So the fact that you can get that kind of a reaction out of people, that's really something to be proud of, definitely. I was gonna say too, me and Jansen did a show together, Neil Simon's Biloxi Blues. I'm not sure if anybody have ever heard that, or anybody who has anybody locally, if you've seen it or you heard of it or whatever. I was gonna ask Jansen, what are some funny moments through your theater experience? But then as I was thinking that, there was one in particular in Biloxi Blues that I think, would you want to give that?
Oh, absolutely, Frank. I'll take it away. So, for reference in that show, I was brought on about midway through as just they needed a line for a soldier and just as someone for a back crew, right? Just
get sure those trays back on the table.
Yeah, that's absolutely, Frank. And so there's a certain scene that comes up, and so the whole show is set in the 1940s, and these boys are getting ready to go to war. And as like a ditch of freedom to get themselves, they all go to this prostitute, for lack of a better word. And, well, Frankie's character in it does,
I had sex with the girl.
I didn't know if we're keeping this PG or not. Well, there we go.
Whatever, it's okay. We'll just say it. We'll just not beat around the bush. Nothing for real happened. It was all pretend. But...
Oh, of course. Yeah, no. God, we'd have a lot more complications if that was true. But anywho, to show this scene going through, Frankie eventually has to take off his shirt. And first 3 nights go smooth, like nothing bad happens. But this one night, I think it was 4th or 5th, and we reel the thing out, getting ready for the next scene. Frankie's shirt gets caught underneath the wheel of the thing, and we have to keep going. We can't stop the show for it. So here we are, Frankie's shirtless in the back of the theater. And
well, luckily I had a tank top. I had a tank top, but you were the only soldier who didn't have a tank top. So that was the problem with this next story.
So with his scene coming up, and he's in his dorms, right? So he's not wearing something like overly like heavy or anything like that. He needs his tank top. And well, with him not having a shirt, I say, hey, you take mine. And I take it off and I shove it to him and make sure he has his seat going on for the scene. Now, it's all good and dandy, except for the fact in less than 5 minutes, I have to go out on stage and dance with one actor, Sam Loban. Thank God this never ended up happening, but God, just coming in shirtless, I'll be honest, I'm not quite pale, it's nothing, but coming in this nice formal dance, and God, I feared the day, what would happen is Frankie does a dramatic turnover to see his future love sitting there, and there am I.
With some drunk male prostitute.
God, yeah, it was, thankfully, somehow we were able to get it out without anybody noticing. I got his shirt for the rest of the show. He held on to mine, and thank God we didn't have that on. Whew,
and poor Jansen, oh my God. Because one thing about that stage is that with those lights and everything and the costume and the heavy equipment you're wearing, holy Lord, you sweat. And something you guys you guys know, or I don't know about me, I sweat easily under that kind of pressure. So poor Jansen has to wear my shirt, which is like, you know, I think you even said to me, no offense, Frank, but you got sweaty arms.
Yeah,
I said yes. Yes.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh my God! But that's one of those moments where it's like in the moment you got to keep the show going. Those are the lengths that this man is willing to do just to keep a show going. Whether even if he was willing to go on stage without a shirt, like that's dedication right there, my friend. I really admire that.
Have me back after that. Holy.
No, yeah, that'd be it. Jansen's done. He's not doing anything else,
no,
you know.
Not at all.
Because Miramichi's a small town, so you know something like that, you know, that wouldn't go around very well. But speaking of Miramichi, one thing that I noticed with this town is that when you compare it to a city like Fredericton or Moncton or even in like Nova Scotia over that, it feels like we don't have as much theater, you know what I mean? Like around here, of course, we have like, you know, the MVHS Drama Club, CM Productions, Rivermaid Productions, the Heritage Players. They're still doing stuff, correct? Heritage Players, I believe.
Yes, I have. Yeah, I've done stuff with them before. Yeah.
So what's your opinion on I'm like, you know, why is a city like Miramichi, how come compared to other cities, why it's kind of interesting because it's all around us in the province, but yet here seems to be kind of, we have all the people, we have all, you know, like the interest is there, but just for some reason it never seemed to yeah, exactly, yeah.
Well, it comes down to a lot of stuff, Frank, and I think there's a lot of things like financially. You'd know, theater is like, to get a good like theater company off the ground, you're going to need a venue, and venue costs money, rights cost money. If you're doing like musicals, which really draw in crowds, those cost money. And it's for a small city like us in Miramichi, where, well, we're not exactly like the highest end of New Brunswick, but like you don't only need a like that money to get going and that sponsorship and like that support, but you also need to draw in the public's attention, right? And if like, I mean, we've seen it, we've done a lot of old fashioned stuff from like Neil Simon,
like Georges Kaufman or
exactly,
you know, yeah, exactly, yeah,
stuff that isn't exactly mainstream. And well, like sometimes like our good nights are like 100 120 people, like
yeah, exactly, yeah.
And then but sometimes it's 10, maybe 20, and there's a lot of things that come into it, but I think but overall it's just a shame that we can't get that more, because it brings so much liveliness to communities, right? Like well, I'm doing university down in St. John, and well, like I already went down to the Imperial Theater down there and saw Christmas Story just this year, and God, it brought me so much joy, and like everyone around us enjoyed it, and it's magical. And it's a shame that it's so hard getting that off the ground, and I'm so glad that you're finding your way through it, and it's like, I think it's going to do wonders for like drawing people to the river, and like just overall for like everyone. And
no, definitely. I mean, of course, it's nothing, I mean, like, you know, that's going to grow immediately. You know what I mean? I mean, like the old saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. People say, oh, that's cliche. I'm like, no, it's true. Exactly. Rome wasn't built in a day. True. You know, you see how many people, I mean, like even like this podcast right here, we use, for example, look at Joe Rogan's first podcast. Joe Rogan started off in the exact same position that we were because I was even going back. I'm trying to think, like, how did people like him start off? He started off just like this, you know what I mean? So yeah, as long as you're committed and you're dedicated, you can make it happen, you know what I mean? So
absolutely. And it's that first step that's always the hardest, and from there you just get to explore more and you get to do bigger things. And even though it's like kind of small right now with like 2 local friends on just talking about our theater experiences. I mean, who knows what it can grow to, Frank? And
No, exactly. Well, I mean, like, definitely with COVID and stuff like that too, it's definitely taken a big hit, but hopefully we keep saying that there's lighter days ahead, but I mean, we just got to be optimistic. But
there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
No, absolutely. And so Jansen actually is as I mentioned before, he is part of our Night of One Acts. Right. So what can you tell us about your character? Because I think one of the shows I put out the synopsis, House of Violations, revolving around a restaurant store manager who's laid off, whose wife is a COVID freak, and he invites his friends over to play poker. Who's your character in that? What can you tell us anything about?
Right. Well, I play one of the friends to the restaurant owner in this, and well, I play a cop, right? So it brings not only a very it brings in how the authorities have been involved within COVID and how they feel about it. It's a very nice side to see, especially considering everything. And but on top of that, he's a big jovial fella. He's very much, I wouldn't say the moral center of the group, but he's come on, boys, get back on track. We're here to play poker. Let's
almost like
let's
the peacemaker, almost, yeah.
Yeah,
there's always got to be someone like that in any group.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and
there's even a bit of hypocrisy in there, because well, actually, with all the characters, because they're all talking about, oh, nobody follows the rules, this and that, and yet here you are, especially a cop, someone who's supposed to be setting an example. Here you are, you know what I mean? So
right, yeah, exactly.
So yeah, so we're working away at that. We're hoping there's some release date stuff coming soon, but you guys can also expect to see Jansen in that. This man has not stopped with theater, and I hope that doesn't stop anytime soon. Are you stopping? Are you retiring?
Oh no, well,
okay, good.
There you go. Well, funny enough, I'm also doing I'm auditioning for speaking of St. John and the theater company down there. I'm auditioning for Annie down there, and I'm really excited for that.
Yes, that's right. I almost forgot about that. Oh my god, that's awesome, dude! Like,
yeah, no, so that's exciting. Well, hopefully, good news comes of it, and well, yeah.
Wow, no, that's something. No, I mean, you're definitely very beloved in the theater world in New Brunswick. You know what I mean? So definitely keep that up. So we had a topic planned today, and I had ran it through with Jansen and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden we got the news, unfortunately, that Bob Saget passed away. And so this is where we will move on and discuss what's going on in the entertainment world, because Corcoran Entertainment, not only a theater company, but it is also this show. We will also discuss all kinds of entertainment. So from movies, TV, and what is more, I'm not sure what's more important today than Bob Saget. I mean, that was quite the shock. So what was your reaction when you heard about his passing?
Well, it's a shame. I got into, I found out about Bob Saget through, I think how most of us did, through Full House, right?
Yeah.
Danny Tanner.
Out.
Yeah. It was, I mean, he was, that show for me was a large aspect of my childhood, right? Watch it all throughout, I think grade 4 to grade 8, pretty much, watch through everything with my mom, my dad, and it's the staple family sitcom that everyone looks to now. And
no, absolutely. I mean, I'm seeing lots of people saying America just lost its dad. You know what I mean? And you say too, I mean, of course, there's America's Funniest Home Videos. That was where I first saw Bob. I first saw Bob Saget in America's Funniest Home Videos. And then I remember my sister was a Full House fan, a huge Full House fan. She had all the seasons on DVD. And I checked one of the boxes out one day, and I said, that's the host of America's Funniest Home Videos. I think I must have it or something like that. And so I checked it out, and I was just hooked on it ever since. And Bob Saget really was a huge, inspiration. You know what I mean? He really was. And is there anything else, any other projects that he did that you were a fan of, or?
Man, it was, I think, with Bob Saget, at least from my end, I'm young enough to not truly like feel his like appreciation over the industry as much as someone like you would, Frank. But one thing I think always like it always gave me a laugh was from America's Funniest Home Videos. And there's one specific moment where I'm not sure even if you remember this, it was the one where he came on with the monkey.
Oh, geez, do I
the
remember
whole
that
thing,
one?
it was like, because every single one, he had like the different entrance to begin America's Funniest Home Videos. And that one, it was not only just amazing to see like him, like, do something that like big,
Yeah,
that,
exactly.
like,
That
funny.
outrageous.
And it was like, man, it was just something where it was a man having fun, and for acting, for comedy, it's something genuine that you love to see, no matter like if they're acting, if they're like anywhere, if they're up on stage, they're performing somewhere. If you can tell that whoever it is enjoying themselves, that they're having fun, that they're at their fullest potential, then God, it brings you so much joy. And it's a shame we lost like someone like of that caliber. And I mean, it's just a shame. And
no, it's definitely, well, I mean, like, especially when you see like his final Instagram post, which I'm not sure if you guys have read that. Basically him, it was I think about 12 hours before he passed. It was would have been his last stand-up show. Did a selfie of him just saying what a great time here. I think he was in Florida, I believe, was where he passed. And just said, the tour is going great, this and that. And then I couldn't even imagine. Well, the best part about it is that he died doing what he loved.
Very true.
I mean, it's not like he died living a life that he didn't want to live, or no, this was he was in his glory. He was in his glory. He really was. And it's been really touching to see all the tributes that his fellow cast members are, even the Olsen twins. The Olsen twins, I see pointed out, whatever happened to them? I didn't even know that they were, they kind of walked off the face of the entertainment world. I mean, they reached out and offered their condolences. And is there any particular moment in Full House with Bob Saget or Danny that really kind of stuck out to you?
Man.
Which we have to go through all 8 seasons just to find one in particular. But is there one that sticks out to you? Then,
well, I guess it's kind of fitting, but there's always been one episode of Full House that always stuck with me. And it's the one where Jesse's uncle, a grandfather, I think, comes in.
Papuli, yeah.
Papuli, yeah. And he comes in, and it deals with death. It deals especially with young children, and because you get Michelle, who wants Papui to come in and for show and tell, and he doesn't show up because he passes away, and it's all too soon, it's all too sudden. And I think for me, not only is it fitting to what just happened with Bob Saget, but just how he condoles Michelle. And it's a very mature subject matter that that still stuck to me, to this day, right? And
that episode in particular, how people deal with grief their own ways. You see Jesse through the whole episode, and he's just on the phone. He's just on the phone, and they're like, "Oh, you need to just take a minute and just shut your brain up." No. I just, I need to do this. I need to do that. When that was one thing I always admired about Full House, and even lots of shows from the 90s, like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air handled those issues very, very well. How come he don't want me, man?
Oh God, man. Tear my heart apart.
Yeah, oh my God, I'm ripping. Oh no, there's my webcam. I just tore Jansen's heart out with that saying. But I mean, shows like that, and the performances, like Bob Saget. I mean, some people just see him as a goofy kind of actor or whatever. But no, you see Full House. There's lots of moments there where it's one that stood out to me in particular in Full House was when him and Vicky broke up.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, I think of all 8 seasons, I think that was his best performance. I honestly do. I mean, which I mean, it's kind of hard to pick just one, as I said, because he's done so much throughout the years. And even on Fuller House, I know, I mean, like, you know, I'd watch clips here and there. I never actually finished Fuller House. I watched the first season. It wasn't really for me. Did you watch all of Fuller House, or did you?
I was in the same boat. I watched all through the first season, but never really got more into that than like that's where it ended pretty much for me.
Because part of me was kind of like, oh man, like why are we really doing this again? Really? Like it's not really really working. But
freshen
I mean,
it
like,
up some, yeah.
No, exactly. But kudos to them for actually, you know, going that far with it and you know, giving us something. And yeah, so I mean, between I'm trying to think if there was one Fuller House moment. I remember because I see so many clips scattered all throughout online of Fuller House, just because that's just me saying I don't want to watch 4 more seasons of it if I'm not into it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But
absolutely. Yeah.
Definitely. But also recently, I have been watching a little bit of Full House again, just ever since we heard of Bob's passing. And but no, I mean, like, you know, like I said, so Full House, AFE. Have you ever seen his stand-up specials?
I never actually got into Bob Saget's actual stand-up, remarkably.
Oh my God. Like it's so because you're like, oh, Bob Saget, oh, the guy from Full House, the dad from Full House. Oh, this is gonna be really, really cute. And then he comes on, F you, blah, 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 blah. Like, you know, you're like, oh my gosh. Like and some of it, and there's some comedians where all they do is just drop F-bomb, 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 and they rely on just that to get a laugh. But with Bob Saget, I feel like he had that way of saying the F word over and over and over again. But the way his jokes were worded, or how they were said, something about it was like, okay, this works. This doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel. I might be in the minority on that, but I mean, you know, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else from Bob Saget, because I mean, my gosh, if you go on his IMDb, it's like a novel. You could write a novel on it. Like, oh my gosh. So, I mean, like, when you think about people like that, who were 65, as opposed to someone like Betty White, you know what I mean? Like that was,
man, Betty White.
Like, that was quite the shocker too.
God, what a gut punch right before the new year. And I mean, like Golden Girls, like she was a Golden Girl. Like
no, exactly. And that's the thing about it, where I'm like, of course it's sad. It's really, really sad. But the woman was 99. Like, she lived a full life. I mean, like, you know, if it was someone who passed away, like Paul Walker passed away at 40 years old, that's like, okay, that's way too young. Bob Saget,
like the late Chadwick Boseman, right?
Yes. Oh my God. Thank you. 40, what's he, 43, 42 or something like that, I heard, but
it's a shame.
He was young. He was young. Yeah. But I mean, like, you look at Betty White, and she, you know, of course it's sad, but she was 99. You can't say she didn't live her life to the fullest. You know what I mean? But someone like Bob Saget, he's only 65. Party is like, he had a lot more left. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
From what you hear, it was like he loved doing what he did, and like he could have just kept doing this for another 10 or so years, but you know.
And I think what was most like shocking of it all was just the like circumstances. It was like, it wasn't like anything like a drug overdose. It wasn't anything like, as far as I'm aware, when I first read it, they said there was no foul play. There was nothing like that.
Nothing like that. Yeah.
It just happened.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's why I remember, I think I can remember who texted it to us, said, hey, Danny Tanner's dead. And I was like, no, he's not. Like, it's one of those ones where it's like, or also when Chadwick Boseman died, I'm like, no, he's not. No, he's not dead. Like, and then I looked it up. I'm like, oh my God, it's true. So I mean, like, you know, that's a good reminder that life's short, and you know, you just gotta live it to the fullest, and you just got those memories to look back at. You know what I mean? Like, we'll always have Full House, and we'll always have AFE, and so yeah. Rest in peace, Bob Saget. 1956, I believe I memorized that. Yeah, 1956 to 2022. So yeah, on a lighter note, let's move on to our second topic today, which is, who is the best live action Spider-Man? So by the way, spoiler warning, I think I put this in the intro. Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen Spider-Man No Way Home, which, what the hell are you doing? Get out and see it. It's incredible.
All right.
I even picked this topic and I said, wait, Jansen, You saw No Way Home, right?
Oh,
Yeah. I was like, okay, shit.
Oh, yeah, man.
It's one of those movies that you do not want to get spoiled. So,
absolutely. God, that it came out for me during exam period, right?
Screw your exams, just quit school.
Oh my God, it was like I was so paranoid I was gonna hop on Instagram or Facebook one day, and then it was just going to be all done. I'm like, oh God,
damn it. Exactly. Yeah. But no, oh geez, that was the most painful week of my life. Just trying to. Hey, I'm gonna go see what so-and-so said on Snapchat. Oh no, I think he's going to see No Way Home tonight, and I'm not seeing him tomorrow. Okay, I'm not gonna talk to him forever. So I think I probably lost about 80% of my friends during that whole week. And I'm still working on getting the back. I just got Jansen back as a friend now.
Oh man, absolutely. Been on rocky terms ever since.
Exactly. But no, what a movie No Way Home was. And seeing all three Spider-Man together, Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, and Tom Holland, that now it's really begging a question. I'm seeing a lot of mixed opinions. It's Tom Holland, it's Tobey Maguire. What's your opinion and what's your reasoning on it?
I'm first gonna say that Spider-Man was a huge part of my childhood. Like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man was like everything to me as a kid. I had action figures. I had I watched the movies over and over again. Funny enough, you know the song "Dream On" by Steven Tyler.
Oh, "Stream On" by Steven Tyler.
Yeah, he has the high note. It's a real great song. Anyway, but it starts all as a small child, my mom's a big fan of Aerosmith. So what ended up happening is I used to call it the Green Goblin song based off, Willem Dafoe. And it was, it's one of the funny things.
Sing it for me.
Oh man! Oh God! No, my vocal range is not that of Steve.
Dude, you're Will Parker. You were Will in Oklahoma. What do you mean you can't sing? Give us a little something. Give us a little accent for that.
Oh God, Frank. Ooh, maybe next time. Yeah.
Next time. Yeah, there we go. This episode will be split into 2 parts. That next part will be released in like a few weeks.
Oh God, yeah. But overall, so of course, Tobey Maguire was a big part of my childhood, and then growing up, we got the movies with Andrew Garfield, which loved Amazing Spider-Man. I think
that movie. Yeah.
Amazing Spider-Man still holds up in my eyes. Second one is a little iffy, but and then you have Tom Holland who came out strong, hitting strong with Civil War. First he was in.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah.
And God, he was loved from the minute he got on board, and then he had the movies. And I personally love Tom Holland in all of them. Saying which is the best. I want to hear your opinion first, Frank.
My opinion? Oh wow! Which I actually had to think. I had to think long and hard about this because for a while, even after Tom Holland had taken over some of that, Andrew Garfield was still my favorite. Ooh. It was which was very unique. People, what do you mean Andrew Garfield's your favorite? Have you seen his movies? His movies don't affect the performance. That's right. What a lot of people seem to forget. I've even heard some people say Tobey Maguire is the worst Spider-Man because Spider-Man 3 is the worst comic movie. No. That doesn't take away, you know what I mean? You can say a movie sucks. I mean, how we criticized Oklahoma on Broadway.
Right.
The play might not have been the best in our opinion, but you can't say that the performances were terrible.
Oh,
and that's where I stand on the whole Andrew Garfield thing. So, of course, right. I'll kind of backtrack the same way you did. So the Sam Raimi Spider-Man was the first one is awesome. Willem Dafoe is still the best villain in all of them. I can easily say that.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. That's
gonna be
that'll be a contest. Here. Oh yeah, fight me on that. Fight me on that. After you see No Way Home, you're gonna know Willem Dafoe is the best Spider-Man villain. I think.
Okay, now we're talking about No Way Home, Willem Dafoe. Holy.
No Way Home, Willem Dafoe. Oh my God. Which, first of all, I know this might be going a little bit off topic, but Willem Dafoe for Joker. Willem Dafoe for Joker. You heard it here.
Oh man.
Please make that happen. Please make that happen. And then of course Sam Raimi Spider-Man 2 with Alfred Molina. Oh wow. That got me there, seeing him in
Alfred
No Way Home again. Wow. And so that one there I think was the best Spider-Man movie for some people say it still is the best Spider-Man movie. So I mean, like, that's debatable. For me, it's definitely still up there. But and then of course Spider-Man 3, which it's watchable. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, it's on Netflix. I go back and watch it and I still enjoy it. But I mean, of course, when you look at it, it's like, oh,
you got the two bangers, and then you got Bully Maguire right after.
Bully Maguire. I missed the part where that's my problem.
God.
And then of course it got rebooted with Andrew Garfield. And up until No Way Home, my favorite Spider-Man movie was, actually, unpopular opinion, Amazing Spider-Man 1, which a lot of people didn't understand that. And I'm like, it just is. It's just it's my favorite Spider-Man movie. Amazing Spider-Man 2 is, I'm in the minority. I like it better than Spider-Man 3. I like,
really?
Okay. I should just title this episode Unpopular Opinions.
Just controversial. Like
controversial, exactly. This is the first episode. I think people hate us already.
Oh man, absolutely.
But I mean, of course, you look at like Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone. Like, what amazing chemistry they had. You can't deny that.
I can't complain there. Holy hell!
Like, don't get me wrong, Tom Holland and Zendaya, they got amazing chemistry. Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst. Good chemistry. I'll just say good chemistry. Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, every time they would have like an argument or disagreement, I was like, my mom and dad are fighting. It feels like mom and dad are fighting. That's what it feels like. It just felt so natural. And then going on with Tom Holland, of course, Civil War. Civil War is a great movie, and he wasn't in it that much, but he was still, I think he did a great job in it.
What a great start. Yeah.
Homecoming, I liked a lot. I did like Homecoming.
I did really like Homecoming.
I really enjoyed Homecoming. Yeah. Which another unpopular opinion, I like Amazing Spider-Man 2 more than Homecoming, but that's just me.
Whoa.
Because then Far From Home is better than both of them. Oh, and then of course,
yes. Far From Home. Well, if we're talking about Mysterio, already I love the concept of Mysterio. I love illusions. I love all that like stuff. And how Jake Gyllenhaal was in No Way Home, because I thought they were going to give him full powers. I legitimately thought from the trailer.
No, exactly.
And when I saw it was like legitimately like the illusions, it was like he was an actor, just like how he was in the comics. And I thought that was brilliant. It was great.
Very brilliantly done. I love that.
Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio is probably he probably is my favorite Spider-Man villain.
Oh, which you're not wrong. That is he was, well, especially because it I mean, like, of course, people who read the comics know it was probably going to come, but then of course there's some people who maybe didn't read the comics and think, oh, like, he's just another buddy for Spider-Man and they're going to team up together, and then boom, no, he betrays him. But
well, a little thing, like, just because it's in my head and I always wanted to talk about this, I still think it's remarkably funny. Just the fact that Mysterio came up in like Far From Home, Mysterio came up with a lie about the multiverse without actually knowing about the multiverse.
He predicted 2021.
Exactly. Like, God, it was so funny. And like, I don't know, it's a little oversight. Like, they kind of backed themselves in a hole with it, but overall.
But hey, here we are. We got the best Spider-Man movie, this past month. But Far From Home, I like better than Homecoming. I just saw it got better and better. And of course, I'm missing Infinity War and Endgame. But I mean, like, those are two. You can't. It's hard to compete with those. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. God,
so like, if we're just talking about like the solo Spider-Man movies. And then No Way Home, it was just Tom. My only problem I ever had with Tom Holland's Spider-Man is, I mean, first of all, he was the perfect blend of Peter Parker and Spider-Man. It was the perfect blend. What I never liked is that he was basically just Iron Boy.
Oh, interesting.
I did not like that at all, because the Homecoming is okay. So Mr. Tony Stark is, Iron Man is going to be, like his mentor almost. And then, of course, Tony's dead in Endgame. And then come time for Far From Home, and it's almost like Nick Fury takes that over. Oh, Nick Fury is, going to be keeping him in check. And
even
then
Mysterio, right?
and,
Like,
yeah,
I'd
and
say, like, the
Mysterio,
first
or
ones,
even
yeah.
Happy to an extent. Happy was also kind of a
Yeah,
good
very
good mentor
true.
to him. And then No Way Home, it would have been Doctor Strange. Oh, like almost like the mentor type role. I always wanted to see, like, in the Tobey Maguire and the Andrew Garfield movies where he just stood on his own. Nobody was his mentor. He was his mentor. That was what I always wanted to see, and that always irked me about Tom Holland's. Nothing against his performance. His performance,
Right.
No Way Home, some people say is Oscar worthy, which I'm not going to say it is, but
well, to be fair, we got a long time.
Oh, we got a long time, absolutely. But I mean, I think
Yeah.
people are some things people are forgetting is that the Oscars. Yeah, this might be a discussion for another time, but basically what I will say is Tom Holland's performance, if you compare it to other performances earlier this year, does it really hold up? Like that's kind of
it's a good thing, and we may be able to come back to it.
Because remember, after Endgame, Robert Downey Jr., that was a big thing. People were pushing for his Oscar nomination, and he was just like, "No, I don't want one," because like he was just being very humble about it.
I guess with your thinking behind Tom Holland, I've always more kind of justified him being with the whole mentor thing. Mainly because I think it's a side of Spider-Man that we never got to see in the Sam Raimi or the Andrew Garfield. Mainly because, of course they followed the very structurally they were more similar to every other Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
You have the Uncle Ben, you have the great power comes great responsibility, and
which in No Way Home was Aunt May gives it to him before he dies, which was a nice change. I like that.
Yeah, it was really nice. And but I think it was a side of Spider-Man that we never got to see. And even still, especially at I think one of the most powerful moments from Homecoming is whenever he pushes through the building after Tony Stark taking away his suit.
Yeah.
He goes to confront Vulture on his own, and anywho, he's crying out for help, and I think I think Tom was able to show the vulnerability of not only Spider-Man but of Peter Parker, and especially because he is a kid, and that's one I wouldn't say problem I have with Andrew Garfield, but more as Andrew Garfield, it didn't feel like whenever he was playing Peter Parker, it wasn't that. You didn't feel, I guess, he wasn't really an outcast in the staple way. He was for the stuff that he was bullied for, it didn't really feel as justified when I guess it was. I love the vulnerability that was brought by Tom Holland to both sides of Spider-Man. And I think
definitely,
that is really important, especially as a kid. I do think the strength of Andrew Garfield. You already addressed the chemistry with Emma Stone, because
Mom and Dad, stop doing that. You know what I mean? It's just oh my God, it's just so good. It's so believable.
Absolutely, and I think that's really strong. And I think I also think that what both of them do really good is also show the brainy side of Spider-Man. Just the fact
yes,
that,
absolutely. That's actually a really good point. I never actually.
Because he is a brilliant kid.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he might just be a kid, but no, he's very knowledgeable. He really is in all this stuff.
He made his own web fluid. I do like that, and I think that's something that I miss at least a little bit in the with Tobey Maguire. It is an aspect of Spider-Man that I do really appreciate, and to be fair, it's not a necessary thing. Hence,
absolutely not.
Go.
Absolutely not. But I mean, for those of you who read the comics, of course, it's comic accurate, like Tom Holland's. I mean, when he starts off as a kid and stuff like that. Yeah, it's definitely it. I mean, of all the Spider-Man movies, what is your favorite? What would you?
Now I've had this up to debate. It would either be between Spider-Man 2, because Albert Molina, I love him. I love
Brilliant
him to death.
actor, brilliant.
Like, not only he was on Broadway with like Fiddler on the Roof, and like God,
yes,
I think he played like the struggling. I think Otto Octavius is one of the most interesting like members of Spider-Man's rogue gallery, just because of his like inner conflict. And I love how they address that in at least somewhat in No Way Home.
No, exactly. And I do love, because I remember at first I was kind of worried. I'm like, are they gonna kill him? Are they gonna do this? And no, they brought him back and sent him back to his universe. And I really, really like that. I mean, like, as I said, I mean, like, of course, your favorite Spider-Man movie, the quality of the movie doesn't necessarily impact the performance, but I mean, like, from your opinion, I mean, like, does it kind of, I mean, like, when you look at your favorite Spider-Man movie, you're like, okay, is that my favorite Spider-Man? Or
in the end, I'd say my favorite Spider-Man movie is Spider-Man 2. However, I would have to say Tom Holland is my favorite Spider-Man.
Oh, well, there we go.
I do. I like his. I think he makes a great young Peter. I think he's going to make a great older Peter after and I respect him a lot for this. Like, I think he's taking a break.
And is that true? Is that, yeah? Because I hear things back and forth, like he's taking a break, and then, oh no, I'm coming back. It's kind of hard to. I mean, like, in a world where Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are. Am I in No Way Home? Am I in this? Am I in that? Like, you know what I mean? So nowadays I can never, it's Tom Holland we're talking about here. The dude is the worst for spoilers. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe he.
Oh man, he's never going to live that down.
It's kind of hard to say. So, tell us what Spider-Man 4. And then, like, I don't know, he could say something like, I die in that movie, or I don't know, like, he just, like, you just never know. Like, I feel like Kevin Feige is like, has a sniper bullet on him, or he has a scope on him. Like,
God, yeah.
Don't
it's
you
either
say
that or
anything.
Benedict Cumberbatch, just like.
That's what I love about all the interviews. Benedict Cumberbatch is always nearby, and he's just like, oh yeah, oh no, I'll answer that. Don't worry.
yep.
There's always gonna be someone to do
covering the mouth. Oh, that's great.
But I do like that. That's your opinion, kind of thing. So, like, Spider-Man 2 is your favorite with Sam Raimi, but Tom Holland's your favorite Spider-Man, which that's definitely. Which is good, because a lot of people do let the quality of a movie impact their choice. You know what I mean? They could say, maybe Ben Affleck was their favorite Batman, but they hated Batman versus Superman, or, like, you know what I mean? Right. So, like, absolutely. I don't like Batman versus Superman, but because Ben Affleck's in it, then it's my favorite Batman. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of
right. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, an opinion is an opinion, but I mean, But for me, I'm gonna say Andrew Garfield, favorite Spider-Man.
Oh, still keeping with Andrew
Garfield.
Still
keep with Andrew Garfield, especially after No Way Home.
I absolutely respect it, man. Yeah.
Especially after No Way Home, like, it was just seeing, especially seeing all three of them there together.
Yeah,
it was just,
they had phenomenal chemistry. Wow.
Like, talking about the web, that scene where they're on the Empire State Building, and they're just talking about the web fluid. Does it come out of your wrists, or does it come out of anywhere else? Like, it's just part of me is just singing, like, I feel like they were just talking behind the scenes, and Kevin Feige's like, we got to film this. I think this is gold. It's one of those moments where it just felt so, but I think No Way Home is going to be my favorite Spider-Man movie, I'll say.
Ooh. I mean, I can't blame you, man.
It took me weeks to decide that. It took me weeks to decide it. I swear, I was like, I don't want to let the fan service dictate my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want it to be,
because there is a lot of that in there.
No, exactly. Because I mean, I'm not going to say the movie could have been here. This would be another interesting topic we could talk about. If Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire weren't in No Way Home, would it still have been as good as people say it is?
Ooh,
that's what I wonder.
A loaded question.
Like, wow. I mean,
because I'll be honest, whenever I first when I heard, like, the rumors, like, oh yeah, they got the Spider-Man villains back, and everyone was hyping up, oh yeah, it's gonna be like, they're gonna put Toby in it, and they're gonna put Andrew in it, and
even though nobody from the studio ever even alluded to it.
Right.
It was
My
just total speculation.
Yeah, that was my biggest worry. I didn't want to get my hopes up because nothing official came out until like a few slips ended up passing through. Like, I'm not sure if you ever saw them, but there was one. It was there was the Mexico trailer for No Way Home, where the scene where they're all like, I think it was like right at the end whenever they're like, it's Sandman, Lizard, and
and they're jumping towards them, and Lizard
gets punched. Yeah.
Literally. Like, I mean, there was stuff like that. Like, I guarantee you $100 somebody got fired for that.
Oh God, yeah. And then apparently on Cineplex, a few weeks before the movie released, they accidentally put Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire in the cast list.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
Well, or I still remember the big leak. It was a YouTuber, John Campea, who I love. I love John Campea. I'm not sure if you heard of John Campea. Love that guy. He's a real. So basically, someone sent him these images of Toby, Andrew, and Tom in No Way Home. And so people would send him stuff all the time and they would never be real. And so he's like, okay, he took one look at it and said, okay, this is fake. This is clearly fake, but it looks really good. So he put his watermark on it and posted it on Twitter. And then I think like 10 minutes later, a studio rep called him and said, no, those are real. And he's like,
shoot.
So, yeah. Like, so, I mean, that was a total, like, we're also kind of like, okay, well, it's not really a spoiler. We kind of knew Toby and Andrew were going to be in it in some way, shape, or form, but.
Yeah, I mean, that, like, God, that's crazy.
Oh my God. Well, part of me's like, thank you, John. Thank you for confirming that for us. Because that's, I'm like, okay, I can go into the movie. You know what I mean? But, so, yeah, I mean, so your favorite Spider-Man, Tom Holland. Mine's Andrew Garfield still. Poor Toby is out left in the cold on this one. If we had a third guest, maybe someone could have vouched for him. Yeah. But nothing against Toby. I had to say Toby is. Please come back and do Spider-Man 4. It's all I can say. Not that he's ever going to watch this, but like, please, Spider-Man 4 and Amazing Spider-Man 3.
This ends up on with a response from Tobey Maguire.
Can you imagine? No, Bully Maguire. Imagine if Bully Maguire sent us something like that.
Oh my God.
Like, But so Jansen votes Tom Holland. I vote Andrew Garfield. And so the question goes to all of you guys watching. Feel free, if you're watching this on wherever you're watching it, Instagram or well, this isn't going to be on Instagram, but you can comment on Instagram, whatever. Who's your favorite Spider-Man? Maybe we'll do a poll or something like that. I don't know. We can see if that's a thing. Do a Facebook poll or something like that. But Tom Holland 1, Andrew Garfield 1, Tobey Maguire 0. Nothing against you, Toby. You're the best. I think that'll do it up for this one here. This was our pilot episode, and this was a lot of fun, man. Jansen, thank you so much for coming on. Any final words before we sign off here?
Thanks for having me, Frank. I'm really excited to see where this goes. And I know, just like everyone, live life to the fullest and enjoy it, right?
No, absolutely. Well said, buddy.
Man, but it's been great. This was fun. It was real fun. I can't wait to see what you do next, Frank. And anyone who's out there who's coming up, get your tickets for our Frank show once he gets those dates.
No, exactly, which will be confirmed sometime within the next little while. So stay tuned next week. We will be joined by Shawn Doucet and Kyle Esty. We will be discussing the Walking Dead movies, and we will also be discussing where Spider-Man goes after No Way Home. So I would like to thank Jansen for coming on, and so thank you all for coming and joining us, and just stay safe. Appreciate you coming on, buddy.
All right, thank you, Frank, and see ya.
Don't do drugs, kids.